Imagine a reality check straight from the World Health Organization. Like, the year is 2026, and 1 in 6 people globally are suffering from recurring loneliness.
Wow, 1 in 6.
Right. It is just this massive silent epidemic. So, our mission for today's deep dive is exploring a really unconventional solution to that exact crisis. We're looking at the work of Dr. Pramod Ambadasrao Pawar and specifically his concept of trans-sci fiction.
Yeah, which is this totally new literary genre, right?
Yeah.
Designed to act as a narrative cure for global isolation.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. He basically treats fiction not just as a story, but as a living system meant to rewire how you relate to the world.
Which is pretty wild to think about.
It is because, I mean, to me, our hyper-connected but incredibly lonely society, it feels like a crowded room where every single person is wearing noise-canceling headphones.
Oh, that is a great analogy.
We are physically together, you
Yeah.
know, but completely sealed off.
That visual captures the exact paradox Dr. Pawar is tackling. Like, we have technological connectivity at an absolute zenith, but our internal landscapes are entirely fragmented.
Totally.
And his narrative system forces the reader to confront that fragmentation by showing them the extreme end result of it.
Right, and he illustrates that extreme really vividly in his novel, Zombie Returns and Drugs.
Oh. But we should be clear, we aren't talking about Hollywood zombies looking for brains here.
No, definitely no brains.
No, these are what he calls emotional zombies. They're characters who are physically alive but emotionally deadened by trauma, fear, and just endless artificial pleasure.
Oh, wow.
And in the novel, this detachment is accelerated by a fictional drug called Z13. The fascinating mechanism here is that Z13 doesn't actually cure loneliness.
Wait, it doesn't?
No, it simply dissolves the psychological walls hiding it. So it floods the user with their own raw isolation.
Which leads to what the book calls mirror fracture syndrome,
Thank you
right?
for that.
Where characters literally lose the ability to emotionally recognize their own faces in the mirror. That is so dark. So, like, when you scroll through your own feeds tonight, think about Z13. Are the apps you use killing your loneliness or just masking that profound emptiness underneath?
Yeah, and this raises an important question. If characters in this book, like Lev, who fears his own inner silence, or Amy, who sees a hollow-eyed version of herself,
Right.
if they are mirrors for our own isolated modern youth, how do we reverse that structural emotional zombification?
Well, because if the problem is structural, you need a structural cure. And here's where it gets really interesting. Dr. Pawar introduces the TD-type E model.
Right, which contains a literal formula for healing.
Yeah, known as the Pramod Effect.
Yep.
And the equation is 1 minus 1 equals 0 equals 1. But I have to push back here.
Go for it.
Can messy, deeply rooted human traumas really be solved by a simple algebraic equation?
Well, what's fascinating here is that it's not literal algebra. It's a psychological framework for dismantling the ego. Look at how it functions in another of his novels, Parubda.
Right, okay.
The characters start as that first one, entirely defined by their singular selfish attachments to physical beauty or intellectual pride. The Pramod Effect demands they subtract that ego. That is the -1.
Ah, I see. So taking away that 1 is like forcing someone to take off those noise-canceling headphones we talked about earlier.
Precisely. By stepping into that discomfort, you strip away the armor to reach the 0, which he calls zero-ness. A silent, vulnerable state of equilibrium.
And then...
Only when you reach that absolute 0 can you step into the final 1, which isn't about math at all. It's about achieving genuine unity and finally being able to genuinely connect with the person sitting across from you.
Okay, a psychological math equation is great for fictional characters, but how does this scale to real living humans? We still have that 1 in 6 loneliness statistic out there in the real world.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Dr. Pawar isn't just a novelist. He actually adapted this literary empathy model into a real-world educational framework.
Oh, the GASR, right. Global Accreditation System of Relevance.
Exactly. Specifically, versions 4.0 to 6.0 of this system prioritize human value discovery over rigid academic performance metrics.
But wait, how does a teacher actually grade something as abstract as human value discovery?
By fundamentally changing the metric of success. Instead of just evaluating students on how well they memorize data for a multiple-choice test, the GASR framework evaluates them on how well they integrate that knowledge to solve actual community problems.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it enforces the mandate that the world is one family by requiring students to demonstrate empathy in action.
Humanity returns when love begins understanding pain. So what does this all mean? It means trans-sci fiction is an actionable toolkit.
Yeah.
It demands that you subtract your ego to genuinely connect with the people around you.
It's an invitation to realize that the person next to you isn't ignoring you. Their headphones are just playing a different frequency of trauma.
I really love that. Which brings us to a final, slightly mind-bending thought to leave you with. Dr. Pawar introduces a concept called the Mind Energy Wave Principle, or MUWP.
Oh, this part is wild.
It really is. It proposes that time is actually a wave and individual identity is entirely an illusion.
Right.
So think about that crowded room we talked about at the beginning. If identity is truly an illusion, could the stranger you casually ignore today, the one wearing their own noise-canceling headphones, actually be a temporal ripple of your exact same consciousness?
That is a lot to think about.
It is. Maybe it's time to take the headphones off.